My name is Kevin Erixon, and I run a livestock and grain farm southwest of Lyleton. We're a quarter-mile off the U.S. border and 6 off Saskatchewan border. We have around 260 to 70 cows that we calve out every year. Mainly keeper calves till January, February. We back ground them till then. The calves stay in the yard after we wean them, and the cows, we try to keep them out of the yard for the most part, like out in different fields and on hay land, and we just haul hay out to them. The only time they ever come in the yard is when we're processing them or gotta needle them or do something to them. In the yard we got good shelter. Mom and Dad had planted trees. Well, we had lots of good old trees before, and tree rows that were planted in the 30s or after the 30s when the windstorms and everything blew the dirt around, so they planted lots of tree rows. Those tree rows are getting to the end of their life cycle now, but they do still provide a lot of protection for the cattle and hold a lot of snow for moisture. This year we didn't really need the moisture, but for the most part they do a lot of good for everything. They keep like canola and stuff from blowing away, and they give a lot of protection for the cattle and hold snow for when you need the moisture.
What about wildlife?
Well, we got a lot of wildlife. We almost got too much wildlife. It seems like we've been overrun by deer on years that are where the snow is real deep. We get a lot of deer into our hay and that. But that's partly to do, I think, is we don't have near as many neighbors. We used to have a lot more neighbors where there was more farms along here, and they kind of spread out into different farmyards. Now it seems like we get all of them, and that's, I guess, well, it's nice to see the deer, but when they start eating your hay, they're not so nice anymore.
Mm-hmm. Talk a little bit about the benefits of, you were telling me about feeding the cattle out of the yard.
Well, the benefits of, there's a lot of benefits to feeding them out. Well, for one thing, it's a big savings on the manure spreading costs, and it does the land a lot of good. They do their own spreading out there, and I think it's a good benefit for the land. I think it's better for the cows where they get out. Like our cows have to probably walk at least a half mile back to drink every day, which I think is a real benefit for the cows as far as keeping them in better shape and that. Yeah, when the snow gets deep, it's sometimes hard to get out to them. You end up, especially you kind of make a bit of a trail and then it blows in, and sometimes you end up getting stuck the odd day, and but it's got a lot more benefits than it does to keep them in the yard, that's for sure.
Good. Would you be comfortable with people coming to visit?
Yes, if they wanted to, if they let me know they were coming, yeah. Okay, where I live, we got a lot of old tree rows, which is that were planted in the 30s, and there's a lot of shelter there. So when I come up here where the cattle are at Mom and Dad's, you can be driving out of that shelter or the trees, and it can be a pretty nice day till you get out into the wide open, and it can totally be a different day. Maybe you can hardly see the road at times until you get back into the yard here where the cattle are, and with all the shelter and that, it can be a pretty blustery day out in the open, and then in the yard here it can be a real nice day actually. The cattle can be standing there soaking up the sun, and the wind isn't bothering them at all. So there's a lot of benefits to a good yard site with a lot of trees around it.